Today, good morning. Today we are going to learn about the intents, how to use intents, and what is this intent and all. Okay. So mainly the intents. Why intents means intents use it to provide runtime binding between the two separate components or two separate activities. Okay. So intents are message objects where you can make a request to the Android runtime to start an activity, or you can start another app component, another activity in your within your app or in the another app. It means that so if you use an intents in your app, so it makes a request to the Android runtime whether to start an activity or to start another activity. It means that within an application you can start your activity, or you can start another activity within your application, or you can start an activity from another application, some other applications. Well, okay, to start other activities in our application, or request an action to be performed some other activity. So we can build own intents. So we can able to build own intents by using an intent class, and you need to call a method start activity, and we need to send an intent to the method for the start activity method. So intents are also used to pass data between the activities. You can also pass the data between the activities by using the intent objects. Okay. So when you create an intent to start a new activity, so what you need to include? So you can include information about the data, or you want to new activity to operate on. So it means, so you have in one application, you need to include an information so that if you click on one activity and it should go for the next activity and display the information. Likewise, you can create an intent. So intents are also used to start services or broadcast receivers. So in intents, there are two types. See, for example for an intent is an email application. So whatever the Gmail application or email application you are going to use, so that displays a list of message. You can send an intent to an activity where you can display the messages, or you can compose an email. So likewise, the different activities you can have it within the one application. So intent types are explicit intents and implicit intents. So what is this explicit intents and implicit intents? So explicit intents specifies the receiving activity or other activity or a component by an activity fully qualified class names. So in explicit intent, you can start a component on your own app. So it means that, for example, you can move different screens by using in the user interface. So in the interface, you can move to the different screens. So because we have a package class name of the component using the intent class. So in implicit intents, where it does not specify a specific activity or a component to receive the intent. So instead, you can declare general action to perform the intent. So what this Android system will do, so Android system will request an activity so that can handle the requested action. So what the request has been sent by the user. So this Android system matches with the request, and it will handle the what the user has been requested in the implicit intents. So next we will see about intent objects and fields. So intent object is an instance of the intent class. So you can create an intent object by using an intent class. So for explicit intents, what are all the includes? What does it includes? What key field it includes means the activity class, intent data, intent extra, and intent flag. So what is this activity class? So activity class is for an explicit intents. When you are using an explicit intents, the activity class matters. So this is the class name of the activity where you should receive the intent. Okay. So use the intent. So we can use an intent constructor, and you can set the component. Okay. By using a method set component or component or set class name methods where you can specify the activity class. So next is the intent data. So that the data field contains a reference where it contains the reference to the data. So what data you are going to need. So it contains that particular data. It means what you want to receive the information in the activity to operate. So that information will be there in the intent data. So intent extra, where this intent extra are key value pairs. Okay, it contains a key value pairs where it carries the information, what the information to be receiving in the activity, what the information you need to require in an activity. You can use an intent extras by with the key value pairs. So intent flags, so it's an additional metadata where this flags has been defined in an intent class. Okay, where the Android system knows how to launch an activity or how to treat when it is launched. When your app is launched, it is no Android system will know how to launch that activity. So let's learn how to use an intent, explicit intent, by starting an activity. How we are going to use it. Okay, to start a specific activity from another activity. So for specific activity means whatever the main activity you have, from that if you want to have an another activity, so then we should use explicit intents by calling the method start activity, as I said. So explicit intents, as I said, explicit intents fully qualified class name for the activity where with the intent object. It means that what the intent object you are going to create, you should pass this intent object with the start activity method. So all other intent fields are optional and null by default. So for example, you have created an intent object for the intent class, new intent, this show message activity dot class. So this means main activity. So from that activity, it has to go with the another activity. So it is show activity message dot class. Okay. So how you are so simply declaring it doesn't work. So for that you need to start the activity. So what this means, it takes an argument message intent, what the object you have been created for the intent, it pass that argument to the start activity method, where this start activity will start the activity, and if you have any options, if you want to go for the next activity, by this it will go for a next activity. Okay. The intent constructor takes, this intent constructor takes two arguments for the explicit intent. So when you are having an explicit intent, the intent constructor takes two arguments. See, this intent is a constructor. So this is a constructor where it takes two arguments, that is this and show message activity. So first one is an application context. Okay, first argument is context. So here, as I said in the example, the activity class provides the content, that is this. Next argument is specific component to start. It means which activity you need to start. So that name you should give in the second argument, show message activity dot class. So the start activity method sends the intent to the Android system. So what this method will do, this method will send the intent, what the intent have you been passed to this method. So it will send to the Android system and tells that which activity to be launched or with on behalf of your application, what the application you have. Okay, on behalf of the application, this start activity method will tell to the Android system so that which activity to be launched. Okay, then new activity appears on the screen. Originating activity is passed. It means that, so if you have when you call this method, it will start the next activity by pausing your original activity, main activity. Okay, so when you start this, the started activity remains on the screen until the user taps the back button. So the main activity will be paused and new activity will be started. So until unless you go back or close the second activity, the main activity will be in the pause state. So if you go back and if you press a back button, the original activity will be resumed. Okay. So how you need to pass the data between the intents. How you are going to pass the data between the intents? So we can use intents to pass the data between the activities. So one is data and one is extra. So intent object used to start an activity where it should include intent data or intent data. By using the intent data or intent extra, you can pass the data between the activities by using the intent. So intent data, URI of an object where intent extra are bits additional data the activity might need it. So in first activity, so in first activity, so in first activity, that is sending activity, what you need to do? You need to know the steps. So in first activity, what you want to do? So first you will create an intent object. Then you are going to put the data or extra to the intent. So whether you want the intent data, whether you want the intent extra, you put that into the intent. Then you call the start activity method. Okay. So in the second activity, what you need to do? So whatever you have been specified here, get the intent object the activity was started with and retrieve the data or the extra from the intent object. What the data or the extra you have been specified in the first activity, you are going to retrieve that data in the second activity. Whether you can have a text, you can pass that text to the second activity. So that data will going to retrieve in the second activity. Okay. So when you need to use this data or when you are going to need to use the intent extras. Okay. So let's see that. So we use either intent data or intent extra to pass data between the activities. So whenever you want to pass a data between the activities, we can go with the intent data or a intent extras. The intent data, what is this intent data? So intent data can hold only one piece of information. So for one object, it holds only one piece of information. A URI representing the location, the data you want to operate. So for example, URI could be an web page, a telephone number, or geographic location, or any custom URI. So, okay. For example, in your Android app, if you open Google Chrome and you will search with the college name or the university name, so it will display some of the information. There, if you have an web page or direction or telephone number options will be there. So if you click on that, so if you click on a telephone number, your dialer app will be enabled and the number will be displayed. So if you click on the direction, the map location will be, your map application will be open and shows the direction from your location. That is the intent data, what the URI you are going to use. So use the intent data field. How you are going to use? When you have only one piece of information, you need to send the started activity. So when you are having one information in that particular data, then you can go for intent data and you can start that activity. So when the information data location, you can represent it by the URI. So next is intent extra. So as I said, intent extras are key value pairs. So it's another arbitrary data. You want to pass the started activity. So also you can store the intent extras in a bundle object. So in the bundle object also you can store the intent extras data. So bundles are a map optimized for Android where keys are strings and values can any primitive or object type. Okay. So we will learn this by through an example. Okay. To put data into the intent extras, you should use any intent class, that is put extra method. Okay. Or you can create your own bundle. So or we can create our own bundle and we can put the data into the intent with the method put extras. So if you have a bundle of your own, if you want to pass that information through the bundle, you can use the method put extras. So if you have any intent class information, then use put extra method. So this is put extras and put extra method. So use the intent extra. So if you want to pass more than one piece of information to started activity, then you can go for intent extras. So if any information you want to pass not expressible by URI, then you can go with the extras, intent extras. Okay. So to add data to an explicit intent from the originating activity, it means from the first activity, if you want to add a data, okay, so how you are going to create an intent object. Okay, so intent object is created with the intent class and the object for this particular intent new with the constructor, where it takes two arguments. This means the first activity, and from first activity to which activity you need to go, so that particular activity dot class should be mentioned within this constructor. Okay, so if you want to have an URI, so use the set data method URI object. Okay, URI intent, for example. So for this intent, for this object intent, so you need to pass an URI. For that, you need to use a method set data, that is message intent dot set data URI dot parse. So if you want to go for an google.com, you can specify that particular path over here. Or if you want to go for an image, okay, then object with the set data URI file from file method, there you can give a new file and you can give the path on that if you go for an image. So likewise, if you have a data model or your custom URI, you can specify like this. Okay. After this, what you need to do, you need to start that activity through the intent object. Okay, you have added the data. Now you should start the activity with the intent. That is start activity method. You need to pass the object, that is what you have been created for the intent class. Okay, so then how to add extras to the intent? Okay, to add a intent extras for the explicit intent, when you are using an explicit intent, how you need to add the extras from the originating activity. So determine the key to use the information you want to put into the extras. First, you need to know what key you want to put into the data, or you can define on your own. So the key can be defined by your own, where this particular key, what the information is passing, it should be unique key. Okay, it should be a unique key. Then after you are determining the key, or after defining your own key, use put extra method to add a key value pair to the intent extras. Okay, so if you want to create bundle object, create a bundle object, then use a put extras method. Or you can, if you don't want to bundle object, just you want to pass an information, put extra method, so that you should add within the key value pairs. Okay, to intent class includes several intent extra keys. So this intent, what the main intent class will be there, it is include with the predefined intent keys will be there. So where it is defined as a constants, so some of the constants will be there. So where you need to do use that constants, you should begin with the word intent, extra underscore, all with the capital letter. Okay, so if you want an email or a reference, you could use intent dot extra underscore email, where it indicates the array of email address. Okay, or intent dot extra underscore refer, where it specifies the information about the main activity what you are going to send through the intent. So how you need to create an intent object, as I said. So intent with the intent object, new intent, that is a constructor, it takes two arguments, and put extra method. How to use these constants? Use a put extra method where it has a key, that is extra underscore message, defines the next is the value. This is my message. The value is this is my message, and the key is extra underscore method, where you are putting the extra to the intent object. So if you want to use with the bundles, you should create an object for the bundle with the constructor new bundle. Put string. If you are using a string, put the string. It means that this is a key in the value. If you want to use a string, use the put string method. Or if you want to use an integer, use the put int method with the object what you have created for the bundle. After that, you have to populate the bundle and add it to the intent by the method put extras method. Okay, so here you need to know that when you are created a bundle, and put the information in the bundle, you want to populate that bundle means you need to use put extras method. Otherwise, only put extra method. So if you are go with the bundle, you need to specify put extras method object for the intent object a dot put extras and extra what the object you have been created over for the bundle. Next, after this, you need to start an activity with the start activity method. Okay. So now we will see with an example. So next is retrieving the data from the intent in the started act. How you are going to retrieve the data from the started activity. So when you start an activity with an intent, the started activity has to access the intent and data it contains. So whatever the data you have in your activity, when the activity started, you need to access those data. So how you need to going to access those data to retrieve the intent the activity was started with, so that you need to use get intent method. Okay, so intent with the intent object, you need to get that intent and use get data to get the URI. So if you are going to use an URI for the intent, for that you are going to use with the get data method. For that you need to create an object for the URI class. Okay. So here also, if you want to get extras out of the intent, you should know about the key value pairs. So if you use one get extra method to extract the extra data out of the intent object, so for that you need to declare string message with the intent object get string extra main activity dot extra message. From the main activity, what the information you have, you need to get that message. So if you are using, so as I said in this example, so you have created a bundle, right? So you have created a bundle and included a message. You need to extract that message in the second activity. How you are going to retrieve these information or the data from the main activity to the second activity? So you need to, if you want to extract those, you need to use this. If you are extracting the string message is equals to object with the get string extra and pass the value. And if you are extracting the integer int position x intent get int extra and pass the message. Okay. So or if you are going with the bundles, you should create a bundle object, and with the intent object you should get extra method should be used, and then string message extras dot get string. Okay, so now all the things we taught, let's do with an example so that we can understand in a better way. Okay, so I'm going to create a new project where I'm going to create a new project with the empty activity. So I will give this name as intent activity. Okay, intent activity, the package name and the location and the language has been selected, and the minimum SDK is API 21. I will click with the finish. Okay, so Android Studio takes a time to launch the application. So we will learn about the how to use explicit intent within your application. So it takes time to do the development environment to be open. Okay. So the design part. So first, see here, observe that on create has been created with the set content view. Within that, it has been passed with the activity underscore main. So these two are linked to each other. So activity underscore main, what I will do, I will delete this particular thing and I will take one plain text. Okay. So please over here, what I will do, I will remove the text. Okay. I will remove the text as of now. Okay. And I will take a button. I will take a button. I will give the text tags. Go to next activity. Go to next. Okay, I will take it as. I will give the button name as. I will give the name of the button as second. So which activity you need to create, select the empty activity. I will take this as second activity. So you should enable, if you have not defaultly enabled, you should enable generate a layout file. So this is important. You need to generate a layout file. Don't go with the launcher activity. So if you click on the launcher activity, this activity will be the first, it will be launched. So don't select this. So this is the layout name will be activity underscore second. So I will click finish. So as soon as I created, see within the Java package, so you have a second activity, and where will be the second activity underscore second dot xml in the resource folder in the layout. You have a second dot activity underscore second dot xml. So what I will do here, I will take one text view within the second activity xml file. Okay, so I will place over here to display the info, whatever the information we pass, it should be displayed over here. So I will remove this text view. I will say hello. Okay, I will say hello, and I will give an attribute text size. I will change so that to display that properly, it can be visible, and I will change the text style. If you want, you can go with the styles and all. Okay, so now go with the main activity part code. Okay, so go with the main activity.xml. Go with the XML code. So here in the button, what I will do, I will use on click attribute. So what it should do, as soon as I click on that button, it should go for a next activity. So I will give a name, go to next activity. So it shows an error. Okay, you should create a function. So alt enter on that, it will ask create go to next activity in main activity. Click enter, you will get here. So now what I will do, I will create an object for intent. I am creating an object intent, new intent. So I will pass first argument as this context, that is the main activity, comma. So next activity is second activity. Intent object. Okay, I will pass the intent object. So if we run this, so if I run this application, what it should do, so as soon as I run this application, so as soon as I click on that button, it should go for a second activity, right? So I will connect with my device so that we can see the output. So that we can see the output. See, I will, if I click here, it will go for a second activity. So if I click back, it will come for an, see, this is the main activity, that is intent activity. So this is the main activity, the intent activity. If I click on this, so it will go for a second activity, that is intent activity. Okay. So let's see how we need to display it. So just I have showed an example how it should run. So let's see. So we have taken a text. We have in this text. So we have to pass the second activity along with this. So first, I will use this idea of the here, what you need to do after creating an object. So you need to find the text view first. So that is plain text. We need to find out the plain text. So that is edit text equals to, we need to pass the text, find where you are going to find through the edit text, find view by id or dot id dot. So what the name I have given, edit text, correct? id name is edit text. Okay. After that, you are going to pass the information from the main activity to the second activity, right? Main activity to the second activity. So for that, I'm going to do, to the intent, you need to pass that intent dot put extra, where it takes two arguments, key value pair. Okay, so I will give where the key should be an unique. So I will give my name, comma. So let's keep as it is as of now. Okay, so as of now, okay, directly we will pass here. So that is, so what the object we have created, edit text dot get text. It means that whatever the text you are going to enter in the edit text field in your application, you need to get the text first. Okay, for that I am going to pass get text, where that text is a string. It should be a string. So to string. Okay. So what you are doing here, you are creating an intent object and you are finding the text view through the ID, and you are going to put an extra. It means that whatever the content string you are going to enter in this edit text, you need to get the text. So that is through the edit text, you are going to get the text. So that is a string. So that is pass the dot to string and start the activity to the int. Okay, so you have done this in the main activity. So what you need to do in the second activity? In the second activity, Okay. So what you need to do in the second activity, due to the power cut, I couldn't able to show the screen. In the second activity, or wait for a 5 minutes, I will connect. Wait for 5 minutes, I will connect with the mobile data. Can you guys able to see the screen? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir, but not visible.
So in the main activity, so we have created intent and we have find the edit text with the find view by ID, and we have put an extra method with the key value pair, and whatever the text we are going to enter, we will take the text and to pass it to a string, and we will start that activity. So once it is been started with the second activity, so within the onCreate method, you need to pass, you need to get that intent. So you need to create, so intent. So intent is equals to get the intent. What? Now you guys understand.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as we done with the main activity part, let's go with the second activity where I'm going to get the intent. Okay. So after that, you need to use get string extra. I am passing the data string as a string. So you need to get that string in this here. So I will make intent dot get string extra. So what the unique name I have given over there, my name. Okay, you need to store this here in the string. I will say this as a value. Okay, I will say this as a value. Okay, so next I'm going to, so here in the second activity we have taken a text view to display it. What will be the ID? So we will check with an ID. So what is ID? ID is text view. We should find that ID with the text view. So that is text view is equals to, so that is we are going to find the ID in the text view. So that is text view, find view by ID, r dot ID dot, that is the name of ID of the text view is text view. Okay, you need to display that content from the main activity to the second. You need to get the text you have import. You should get the text. You need to append this whatever the value you have. Okay, so for that value is equals to, so where you need to append that in the text view dot get text. So get text means whatever the value is there in this, that is hello, you should get the text. Along with that you need to have a value. So after that, after getting the text on the main activity as well as the particular second activity, you need to set the text to the text view. How we are going to set the text view? So text view dot set the text, set the text what you are going to pass value, what information we have, we are going to pass that value. Okay, so let's run and see what we are going to display. So it takes time to build a Gradle and to run. So now it's installing. So I will change the screen over to my device so that we can view. So this is what we could. So I'm displaying the content over here. Welcome to intent class. I will click display send activity. See, we got an output in the welcome class. See, there is no space between the hello and welcome and all. So I will make space just by appending comma by using the double quotes. I will start once again. I will launch the application. So here, example, the what the example we have learned is for an explicit intent. Thank you. Okay. Have you guys understood?